Hello, hello, gorgeous NFA Money Mamas. It's time for episode number 29 of the Woman Entrepreneur Podcast. Today, we're going to have a really important topic to set yourself up for success in 2023. Of course, you know, on this recording release, it's December 6th, 2022. So we're coming up to the end of the year, and it's a great time to be doing year in review questions. So this episode's all about 7 year in review questions to set next year up for success. This is definitely one where you're going to want to have a pen and paper to write these questions down so that you can sit down and do a year in review. But first, I want to make a few announcements before I give you these questions. One, the book is still in pre-launch. It's finished. I finished writing it before I left for my retreat to Sedona this last week. And so on November 30th, as promised to myself and my community, I wrote an entire book in a month. It's exciting. If you want to pre-order the book, go to 𝐼amamoneymagnetbook.com. 𝐼amamoneymagnetbook.com. This book is packed with awesome information for you to understand how manifestation works in a neuroscience way, how your brain is programmed for either poverty or wealth. And then it gives you daily journaling questions and AffirMantras to help you align yourself for success. The reason I wanted to finish it before the end of the year, 2 reasons actually. One is that the goal, of course, I said I was going to write a book in 2022. So here I am finishing writing a book. Second, because I want you to have this book before the first of the year. So the date of the book launch is December 19th. So you will receive your book before the beginning of the year. And it's a 30-day guide. So it'd be a really great thing to do to order it and then get it before the beginning of the year so that you can do 30 days of manifesting AffirMantras and journaling. It's actually way more in depth than I ever thought it was going to be when I set out to write it. The journaling questions that you get every day are set up for you to have self-reflective time to understand and recognize your money beliefs, and then use AffirMantras that are in the book to reframe your money beliefs. And then you repeat this, and it reprograms your money mindset. So this book is a guide to help you manifest easier money and reprogram your money mindset. It's awesome. So go to 𝐼amamoneymagnetbook.com and order it immediately. And then also you'll be entered in to win $2,000 in prizes and hang out with me at the book launch party if you order it before December 19th. All right, let's get into today's content. I'm really excited about these questions. And the reason that I bring these to you is because I do this every year. I sit down and I do a year in review process. And this year was awesome. I just returned from Sedona, Arizona. If you haven't been there, holy moly, it is absolutely beautiful. So my best friend and I rented a retreat house, and it was so great. It had a koi pond inside of it, and it's called Nature's Inn, and they built it around this living design. So the whole living room and kitchen area was designed around the koi pond, and they had this 5-foot aloe, and I didn't even know this was a thing, but they had skeletons of cacti. And so if you've never thought about it, I had never thought about this before, how a cactus is like a tree. So when it dies, there's a tree-like looking plant that exists, or sculpture. It looks like a sculpture. It was one of the coolest things I've ever seen. And so they had, a 5-foot skeleton cactus in the living room, and then there were vines everywhere, and it felt like you were in a tree house. And so we had like this awesome slumber party because it was a big loft and the bedrooms were across from each other, but everything was open. And so it was like, hey, good night across the room. It was so cool. Such an incredible experience. And then the top of the house was a living roof. So it had grass covering the roof, and it was in this valley where you could just hike up this creek, and it was private and amazing. And then of course, Sedona has a ton of incredible, I got to turn off my beepers so we don't get a whole bunch of notifications during this episode. Sedona has a whole bunch of amazing hikes. And so we went on hikes every day. We meditated, we journaled, and we did a year in review process. And it had me thinking about all of you and going, I wonder if my people know how to do a year in review process. And if you don't, this is your episode that's going to help you do just that. So let's break down the questions. So the first question to ask yourself is going to be, and if you're on YouTube, these are on the screen. You could also go to the blog if you want to see them written out. So just go to thewomenentrepreneurpodcast.com and you'll see the blog at the bottom of the page. And it'll give you these questions written out as well if you're not able to write right now. And you can just go back and check them out. Okay, so let's start with question number 1. What were my big and small wins this year? Okay, one thing I want to say real quick is that you could do this review process every week. I often do this on a weekly basis where I say what worked last week and what didn't work last week. We're talking year in review because we're coming up on the end of the year. And this is something that's going to take you some time. This isn't like a 1-sentence thing. So what I did was I sat down for hours. I created a spreadsheet. I have no idea why I know if you hear this beeping, I don't know why it's happening because everything is turned on Do Not Disturb, but it's still going to beep. So I apologize for that. Okay, so you want to get either a journal, or for this one, I did a spreadsheet. So I created a Google spreadsheet and I wrote out every month. So on the left column, I did every month, and I left room and then in the next column to write all of the accomplishments, big and small, for each month. As I did this, I went through my calendar, I read through my old journals for the year, and I really took time. This took 3 hours to do. So we're talking about, it's up to you. You can spend 2 minutes or you can spend 3 hours, you can spend an entire day. It's up to you. This is a really important process. First, you want to notice your big and small wins. You could also be noticing anything that happened in the year. So it could be, what were my big and small wins this year? What were my perceived failures? Really what you're doing is what happened over the course of the year, so you can have a reflective awareness guide to recognize what's going on and what you're creating. And it takes intentional effort and focus to notice this. And what's really cool is if you do it online on a spreadsheet, you can look at it every single year and then see patterns. And then that helps give you more information on how to change and what's working and all of those things. So what I want you to do, at least in a journal, if not, I say get a spreadsheet, Excel or Google, and do on the left column, you want to write out every month down the left side, and then write down what happened based on looking at your calendar, looking at your journals for the year, reviewing month by month, what did I accomplish, big and small, in the last year? And this really helps you recognize how powerful you are. It helps you celebrate yourself. It helps you become aware of what is possible to create in a year, which also gives you guidance for the upcoming year. It helps you know that you are incredible, right? You know that I'm here always to bring you tips and inspiration to keep you in the game of up-leveling your vibe and being encouraged to continue making a difference in the world and making money through your business, doing what you love. It's not possible to do that if you don't take time for self-reflective awareness. So that's what question number 1 is all about. You recognizing yourself, you recognizing your accomplishments, you taking the time to notice your energy and your effort, and really, look at what you created. It was amazing for me when I sat down to do this process. So in Sedona, I was like, wow, I create a lot in a year. Holy moly. If you look at just my episodes alone, that's a lot of creation. Social media posts. I moved this year. I went on trips this year. I bought a house. I had investments. I think about all the exercise that I did. That's what you want to be listing. What did you create in your personal life, your professional life, with your money, with your body? These could be health goals. How much did you travel? Like, really dig in. What were my big and small wins this year? This is a powerful, powerful question, and take your time to do a year in review of this question. Just this alone, if this is all you got from this episode, would be really powerful, a really powerful self-reflective tool for you. Okay, so, and if you have questions, of course, message me. If you go like, hey, I don't exactly know how to do this, DM me on Instagram. My Instagram handle is NFA Money, no fucking around money. NFA Money, that's my company. So everything that I do, the Woman Entrepreneur Podcast included, is run through NFA Money, my company. Okay. Number 2, what worked to create these wins? What worked to create these wins? So when you're looking back at question 1 and you're going, what were my big and small wins this year? Question number 2 is what worked to create these wins? And what you want to be writing down are things like, how were you energetically aligned? What was your morning routine like? What were you doing to generate those wins? Was it a specific style of lead generation that you had going on? Was it networking? What worked in your money making? Was it the way that you showed up with power? Was it the coaches you hired? Was it ads that you ran? Like, you want to get really clear what worked to create your wins in the last year. Was it books you read? And just the reason, again, this is going to reinforce you setting yourself up for success next year. It could be delegation, right? It could be, you delegated to a powerful team and that had you free up time, which caused you to create bigger wins for yourself in your personal life, or in your health and in your energy, right? So what worked to create these wins? It's a powerful question for you to be asking yourself. Question number 3, what slowed down my progress? Again, self-reflective awareness. You want to be thinking, what slowed down my progress? Other ways to ask these questions. So question 2, what worked to create these wins? You could also ask yourself, what gave me energy? What made me money? What worked for me to be successful? What worked for me to be more connected or feel better? Those are all questions along the lines of what worked to create these wins. So those are the kinds of questions you want to be asking yourself in this second question to evaluate your year in review, to review your year and evaluate. Okay. And then question number 3, what slowed down my progress? Another powerful question that goes along with this question of what slowed down my progress is also what drained my energy or what didn't work to create what I set out to create. So if you're looking at your year in review and you're reading in your past journals and you're going, whoa, there were some goals that I didn't accomplish. There were some things that I set out to do that I didn't accomplish. This question aligns here. Why didn't I accomplish that? What didn't work? What did I decide to change? What was draining my energy and blocking my success? So what slowed down my progress is a question to help bring to your conscious awareness where you have blocks. Perhaps it was that you changed completely in what you decided to do mid-year and you realize, it slowed down my progress because I got realigned, but then actually I started building momentum in a new direction. So that's just you being aware. What slowed down my progress? What drained my energy? What caused me to have blocked manifestation or blocked goal accomplishment? And these are questions to help you get there. So what slowed down my progress? These could be things like procrastination. Get honest with yourself. Procrastination could be bad relationships where you're not willing to grow in your relationship, or you're not willing to let someone go or something go that is no longer aligned. Okay, what slowed down my progress? Get really specific and take time to journal on this. Okay, question number 4. What are the top 3 words that describe how I showed up this year? What are the top 3 words that described how I showed up this year? And again, these are all questions where you want to be as honest as you can be with yourself. Don't hide from yourself. You're never going to improve if you're not honest about where you are. So if your top 3 words were stress, overwhelm, and anxious or worried, that's okay. Be honest with yourself. At least now you have a starting point for next year. Perhaps the words were, I felt evolved, inspired, alive. Okay, be honest with yourself. Whatever the top 3 words that describe how you showed up this last year, be honest with yourself. And you could also, of course, you can do more than 3 words. I'm just giving you a guidepost. You could write an entire, journal entry on how did I show up last year and look at the patterns that you see. And ideally, you would be doing this on a regular basis so that you're having this constant self-reflective awareness so that you can keep improving. Because remember, as I always teach you here, you attract how you feel. And that's what you want to be thinking in this question. How did I feel over the course of this year? What was my energetic state? What was I vibing at? Because that's what you're going to keep attracting. So until you get conscious, you will continue to create the same reality. Always remember Carl Jung's quote, until you make the unconscious conscious, it will run your life and you will call it fate, right? Until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life and you will call it fate. Okay, so this is a consciousness raising tool that we're using today in this episode. And so, what are the top 3 words that describe how I showed up this year? You could also journal in this question, how did I show up this year? What are the main themes of my year? What was my energetic state over the course of the year? Okay, so these are the questions you want to be asking yourself so that you can start to be aware, what was my vibe? And that's why you're attracting what you're attracting. So if your vibe was high, you were inspired, you were aligned, living in your zone of genius, you probably had a really good year. You probably made a lot of money. It probably kept flowing in and growing. If you were not aligned and you felt overwhelmed, stressed, losing your identity, imposter syndrome, you're going to be lower vibe and you're going to attract that in the upcoming year. So you want to get clear so that you can start to up level and shift your energy and shift your feelings and your thoughts and your state of being so that you can get something new in the upcoming year. Okay. So again, question number 4, what are the top 3 words that describe how I showed up this year? Okay. Question number 5. This is a long one. If I had a magic wand to design this upcoming year for success and abundance, what would I ask for from the universe? Okay. So if you had a magic wand, what would you ask the universe for in the upcoming year to be successful and abundant? Okay. And I want you to think about this question. If I had a magic wand, how am I going to design my upcoming year? If I had a magic wand, how am I going to design the upcoming year? And when you ask for that, you're asking the universe. And this aligns with question number 6. What will I do differently in the upcoming year to co-create with the universe and manifest my goals? What will I do differently in the upcoming year to co-create with the universe and manifest my goals? Okay. So the magic wand question, I want you to start playing with, what do I choose to design this upcoming year like based on what I learned from this last year? So that's why this is a year in review question. You want to be thinking, okay, last year I liked this part. I didn't like this part. What am I going to do differently in the upcoming year to design and co-create with the universe based on that idea of magic wand? I get to create anything I choose because I'm the creator of my reality. And until I ask, I'm definitely not going to get it. If I don't ask for what I want, I'm certain to not get it. So let's get clear and send a clear, direct message and request to the universe about what you are desiring to create in the upcoming year. And then what are you willing to do differently to co-create with the universe? Because it's not just about asking and getting whatever you want by sitting on the couch and doing nothing. It's asking and then getting into inspired action in the direction to co-create with the universe. And this signals to the universe that you're serious. And this is the manifesting formula, right? My NFA manifesting formula is clear, get clear and certain, decide what you want, send the signal to the universe. Then you take action in the direction, which is you co-creating by taking inspired action, opening doors of opportunity, and then the universe brings you all the opportunities, right? So those are the 3 steps. So in this first step, you want to ask, so if you had the magic wand, what is it that you choose to create? And then number 6, what will you do differently this year to co-create with the universe and manifest all of your goals? Okay, so this is the action part, the plan of action part for you to start thinking about, how do I set manifestation-based goals and how am I going to get there in the next year? And then question number 7, what are my top 3 words of power for the upcoming year? What are my top 3 words of power for the upcoming year? And I love these because I always like to have words and themes for the upcoming year. Like, what is my focus? One of the words that kept coming up for me when I was doing my year in review process and answering these questions was softness. And to me, I wrote a whole page of what softness means. It's, sensuality, enjoyment, slowing down, experiencing joy, being present, sensations, eating good food and traveling to beautiful places. And even when I'm here with you right now, feeling this feeling of softness, of like, I don't need to be in a rush. I can just share from my heart. And so I wrote down what softness means to me. It might mean something different to you. And so that was one of my words for the year. It's like softness, meditation and yoga and soups and blankets, like all these fun things came to my mind when I thought about the word softness and how it would have me feeling. And that's how I choose to feel this year. And so in the upcoming year. And so play with these and come up with 3 words of power for you. And words of power just means alignment words that are empowering to you, words that are your guideposts that inspire you in a direction. So what are your top 3 words of power for the upcoming year? And I would love to hear what your 3 words are. Take a screenshot of this episode on your phone and then blast out on your social media post, either on LinkedIn, Facebook, or Instagram, NFA Money. Tag me into NFA Money and share your words of power for this episode. This is a really powerful way to align yourself for the upcoming year. Okay, I'm going to recap all 7 questions and then we'll close up shop for the day. So question number 1, what were my big and small wins this year? Question 2, what worked to create these wins? Question 3, what slowed down my progress? Question 4, what are the top 3 words that describe how I showed up this year? Question 5, if I had a magic wand to design this upcoming year for success and abundance, what would I ask for from the universe? Question 6, what will I do differently in the upcoming year to co-create with the universe and manifest my goals? And question 7, what are my top 3 words of power for the upcoming year? Yeah. Can't wait to hear from you. I love being here with you. And until next time, I'm sending you big hugs and NFA money making high fives. Mwah.